The Man from Time Hole 13. Part 1. The Man Who Stepped Out of Darkness. On July 19, 2284, the Titan III station on Saturn's moon, Titan, recorded a strange phenomenon, a zone of absolute silence, where all radio waves, radiation, and light signals were either bent or completely absorbed. NASA labeled it Time Hole 13, the 13th unexplained anomaly at the edge of the solar system. Every attempt to send probes into it failed. Cameras shut down as they approached the edge. Signals went completely dark. Until that day. At exactly 2:16 Universal Time Coordinated, a human figure stepped out of the time hole. No light. No sound. He simply appeared, as if space itself had spit out something it once swallowed. He wore a silver suit. No logos. No insignia. His face was calm, almost serene. But his eyes, far too alert. As security personnel approached, he raised both hands gently. "I'm unarmed. I'm from the near future, though I'm not sure whose present this is." He identified himself as Ivan Tross. But when the tech team searched for records, they discovered something chilling. There was no trace of anyone named Ivan Tross in any Earth-based database. No birth records, no medical files, no DNA match. Even the photos taken of him vanished from memory storage after just 6 hours. Everything connected to him was erasing itself. When questioned in a sealed chamber, Ivan smiled faintly. "I come from a reality where Titan was never meant to be explored. I was sent here to fix a mistake." He wasn't panicked. He wasn't angry. Every reaction was calm, unnervingly so. But what truly stunned the scientists was the device he carried. A small metallic cube, palm-sized, emitting energy signatures never recorded before. When placed near a quantum time meter, the clock's hands started ticking backward. "This is a stream key," he said. "Time isn't linear. It's a corrupted loop. And I'm a product of that error." The next day, Ivan vanished from the security chamber. No trace. Surveillance footage only captured static, a distorted blur. 6 hours later, he reappeared. But this time, he didn't recognize the people who had questioned him. He spoke of different things. His descriptions of the world he came from didn't match his previous version. When shown footage of his earlier interview, he stared at the screen for a long time, then softly said, "I don't remember ever saying that." One of the psychologists whispered to the team, "We're not talking to the same person. Every time he shows up, he's a different copy." Part 2. The Copies of Broken Memories. After the third reappearance, they stopped calling him Ivan Tross. Because that man was no longer the same person. Though he looked identical, same eyes, same reactions, even the same heartbeat, each version that returned had small, unsettling differences. One was left-handed, the other right-handed. One liked dim lighting, the other despised it. One feared heights, while another stood calmly at the edge of Titan's observation deck, gazing into the void without blinking. Tiny details didn't match. So they began naming him by his return: Ivan 1, Ivan 2, Ivan 3. By the fifth return, Ivan began asking them, "Why do you keep holding me here, when you yourselves can't even remember me?" That question silenced the room. No one had an answer. Because it was true, all video, audio, and photographic data of Ivan disappeared after 6 hours. Only handwritten notes remained. And human memory. But then, the lead scientist, Dr. Kamla, discovered something more disturbing. Even the memories of Ivan had begun to fade. She was the only one to have interviewed all 5 versions of him. But on the morning of day 7, while reviewing her journal, she froze. In her own handwriting, she had written, "I don't remember ever meeting this man." She stood in shock. On the desk beside her, a voice recorder played back her own voice. "He knows too much. And now, he's starting to distort the space around him." 6 hours later, Ivan 6 emerged from time hole 13. But this time, he didn't walk calmly. He ran. His body trembled, eyes flicked erratically, and he mumbled, "No, this isn't the mainstream. I'm not supposed to be here." When restrained, Ivan 6 screamed, "I'm the last copy. Stop this. Every time I come back, reality drifts further from the true path." Before losing consciousness, he threw something to the floor of the lab. A small piece of paper. The corner was burned, but the remaining words chilled the entire research team. "Next time I return, I won't be me." By Ivan 9, everything had begun to unravel. The moment he stepped out of time hole 13, every clock on the station froze. Temperatures in the quarantine wing spiked for no apparent reason. One scientist lost the ability to speak, though her nervous system was fully intact. They had created a temporal distortion point. And time hole 13, once a place of total silence, began to emit sound. Not noise. A voice. When analyzed, it was found to be Ivan's voice. Or rather, every version of Ivan speaking at once. "I am a feedback entity. I don't exist at any fixed point. But I retain every error. And you pulled me out of the loop." Dr. Kamla gripped her chair tightly. She whispered, "We're not interrogating a man. We're interrogating the consequence of time travel gone wrong." Ivan 10 never appeared again. But instead, the station itself began to duplicate. A desk showed up in 2 different locations on the facility map. A technician saw himself walk past a hallway, 2 seconds before he actually did it. Reality had begun to crack. Part 3, The Original is Dead. Day 14. Titan Station 3 entered lockdown. Not due to physical danger, but because reality itself had begun to duplicate. A chair appeared in 2 places at once. A technician saw himself walk down the hallway, 2 seconds before he actually did. Logs began to rewrite themselves. Reality was cracking, like glass under pressure. And worse, Ivan wasn't returning. But people started to dream about him. Dr. Kamla was the first to record a dream. She stood before the time hole, but it wasn't on Titan anymore. In front of her stood hundreds of Ivans, blank stares, motionless, all whispering the same thing, "I'm already dead." But the loop hasn't noticed yet. She woke at 3:13 a.m. Her door had locked from the inside, on its own. The central data system began glitching. Though it was protected by 12 layers of encryption, a strange log appeared after every reboot, with no source, no timestamp, no author. It read, "Ivan is a replica. The original died 1,000 years ago. And now, the loop is looking for someone new." A terrifying theory emerged: Ivan was never a time traveler. He was a byproduct, a corrupted echo, created by time itself trying to rescue a being that no longer existed. And each time it tried, the version became more broken than the last. Time hole 13 wasn't a portal. It was a rupture, where time attempted to patch itself by ejecting leftover memories. Ivan wasn't a man. He was a temporal ghost. Day 17. Titan Station lost all contact with Earth. The last satellite image showed something impossible: 2 Titan stations, overlapping like mirrored shadows. Twisting, warping, collapsing in on themselves until they vanished from the radar. Weeks later, a weak transmission was picked up from the outer edge of Saturn. Unencrypted. Barely audible. It repeated the same phrase, "I am the last replica. And this time, I can't come back." NASA froze all data linked to Time Hole 13. But buried in a level red classified report, one final handwritten note was found. No date. No signature. Just this: "If you're reading this, maybe I'm still me. But if I ever start rewriting myself, lock me in. Don't let me out of time." And that's how the man with no past became the replicated memory of time itself. Time Hole 13 is still there. Silent. Waiting for the next glitch to surface.